To win in life's ruthless theater, you must master not only your true emotions but the illusion of them. There is one emotion, so potent, so deceptively simple, that faking it will grant you dominion over friend and foe alike. Fail to wield this mask, and you become prey, inevitably crushed beneath the ambitions of those who do. In the quiet recesses of power, where strength is measured not by force but by subtlety, emotions become tools or weapons. The honest heart is a weakness, the transparent soul, a liability. Here, in the shadows of human nature's harshest truths, we confront the necessity of feigned emotion. It is a cold calculus to survive. To conquer, to rule, one must sometimes counterfeit what one does not feel. This is no mere deceit. It is the strategic mastery of appearances, the currency of influence. Let us delve into the single most vital emotion you must learn to fake, for in this art lies your path to ultimate control. Power dwells not in open fury, nor in visible passion. It is concealed in the calm, cold eye that watches without haste, that weighs without emotion, that speaks without trembling. Ask yourself, what frightens your enemies more? The roar of a beast or the silent, unyielding gaze of a hunter? The truth is brutal, controlled indifference is your most formidable weapon. To fake it is to wield power itself. Consider the great rulers of history who mastered this art. The Roman Emperor Augustus, who concealed his ambition beneath the guise of humble senator, did not declare war with bluster but with measured patience. His calm masked a burning desire for control. His enemies fell not because they were overpowered, but because they were unnerved by his silent resolve. When the world demanded rage, he offered composure. And in that silence, he crushed dissent. This is no accident. Human nature recoils at indifference. When you fail to react, others are forced to fill the void with their own fears, doubts, and insecurities. They reveal themselves, unaware that you remain untouched, a fortress behind cold walls. What is anger but a crack in your armor? What is panic but a signal of weakness? The mind instinctively seeks patterns, desires clarity, craves emotional feedback. Deprive it of these, and you become an enigma, a shadow in the fog of uncertainty. You have seen it, the nervous adversary, the desperate rival, the trembling subordinate. Why do they falter? Because you did not play their game of emotional chaos. You offered them a mirror that reflected only cold indifference. Like a chess master, you made your move not with emotion but with calculation, and they stumbled into your trap. But how does one fake such indifference? This is the crux of your ascent. It is not mere suppression of feeling, but its transformation into a strategic facade. You become a mask, an actor on the stage of power. When provoked, your face remains calm, your voice steady. Inside, the storm may rage, but outside, you are the still eye of a deadly hurricane. Remember the Venetian diplomat, Machiavelli's contemporary, who, when confronted by enemies' provocations, answered not with fiery rebuke but with cool silence. His enemies grew restless, their confidence eroded. They mistook his quiet for weakness, an error fatal to their cause. This silence was a blade sharper than any sword, a psychological siege that forced submission without bloodshed. This mastery requires practice, discipline, and the acceptance of cold realism. To control others, you must first control yourself. Your impulses, rage, frustration, impatience, are your greatest enemies. They betray you. They reveal your hand too soon. A master of power waits, watches, and chooses the exact moment to strike. The rest of the time he remains unreadable. You might ask, is this not deceit? Is this not hypocrisy? Indeed, it is both. But power cares little for morality. The question is, do you desire to be controlled or to control? To be a pawn or the player? To be consumed by your emotions or to command them? The cold truth is that the world rewards those who mask their feelings and punish those who expose them. Psychologically, this tactic exploits the primal human need for predictability. People fear what they cannot read. They are animals seeking signals. When you offer no emotional cues, their minds spiral into uncertainty. This uncertainty breeds hesitation. Hesitation breeds weakness, and weakness invites domination. Consider how spies and negotiators deploy this technique. The greatest lie they tell is not in words, but in silence. They respond to provocation with nothing but an unchanging expression. They allow their adversaries to unravel while they remain statues, unmoving, unreadable, impenetrable. Yet beware. This art demands more than frozen countenance. It requires you to harness your emotions privately, to process them like a forged temper's steel. You do not deny feeling, you master it. The anger that burns within must fuel your resolve, not your display. The impatience you feel becomes patience in practice. The fear you hide transforms into courage behind the mask. Look to the example of the great tactician Hannibal, who faced the mighty Roman legions. He did not let the pressure show. His calm unnerved generals who expected panic. His silence before battle was a statement of dominance. The enemy doubted, and in doubt, they faltered. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you allowed your true emotions to betray you in a moment of crisis? How many battles have you lost not for lack of strength, but for lack of control? The path forward is clear. You must learn the art of feigned indifference. You must become the unmoved mover, the quiet storm, the shadow that unsettles kings and commoners alike. Control your reactions, and you control the battlefield of minds. Your enemy's fury becomes your advantage. Their desperation, your opportunity. Their confusion, your victory. But mastering this is only the beginning. There is yet another emotion, deeper and darker, that you must learn to fake to seize true power. An emotion so subtle it can turn allies into instruments and adversaries into pawns. Do you wish to discover it? Then steel your mind and prepare. The next secret lies just beyond the veil of this cold indifference. A secret that will elevate your command from mere survival to absolute dominion. Are you ready to continue? Warmth is a weapon. Not the sincere comfort of friendship, but the calculated flame you ignite to illuminate weakness, to blind suspicion, to forge allegiance. You must learn to feign kindness, to wear empathy as a mask. Why? Because trust is the most fragile fortress, and those who command it command the minds and wills of others. Ask yourself, who holds power more securely? A ruler who commands through fear alone, or one who blends fear with the illusion of care? History teaches us that terror without warmth breeds rebellion, but warmth without power is folly. The true art lies in selective warmth, a deception so deft it binds foes as surely as chains. Consider the Machiavellian prince who welcomes enemies with a smile, whose eyes conceal the blade poised to strike. His warmth is a veil, not a virtue. His kindness calculated, a currency exchanged for control. He offers the appearance of concern, and in return, his adversaries lower their guard. How easily a shield can be pierced when the wielder is disarmed by trust. Look to the example of César Borgia, a master of manipulation and political cruelty cloaked in charm. His reputation for ruthless conquest was matched by his ability to disarm foes with courtesy and feigned compassion. His warmth was a tool, an invitation to vulnerability that allowed him to seize power swiftly and without resistance. Was his kindness genuine? Never. Was it effective? Unquestionably. Why does warmth seduce? Because the human mind craves connection. Trust is the currency of influence, and empathy its most persuasive coin. When you feign warmth, you enter the inner circle of another's psyche. You speak the language of their desires, fears, and hopes. You craft a narrative in which they are seen, heard, valued, an intoxicating spell that loosens their defenses. But beware, warmth given indiscriminately is a sign of weakness. It must be selective, targeted like an arrow aimed at the heart of your objective. To all others, you remain distant, unreadable, aloof. This balance is the essence of strategic deception. Imagine a negotiator in the heat of conflict. To win, they must appear caring, attuned to the needs and fears of their opponent, while secretly plotting the ultimate advantage. The empathy they display is not born of feeling, but of calculation. They listen not to console, but to harvest information. They nod not in agreement, but in preparation for betrayal. How many have been undone by their own genuine warmth? How many leaders have been overthrown because their empathy was mistaken for weakness? The world does not reward the sincere, it rewards the shrewd. You must become a master of this masquerade. Psychologically, selective warmth exploits the basic human need for acceptance. When you mirror the fears and hopes of another, you forge an emotional bond that transcends logic. This bond is your entry point, the gateway to influence and control. But this art demands a ruthless mind and a heart of stone beneath the mask. To feign warmth is to embrace hypocrisy without hesitation. You must cultivate the ability to switch swiftly between warmth and coldness, kindness and cruelty, trust and suspicion. Your mask must be as changeable as the wind, tailored to every interaction. Consider the great spies and manipulators throughout history. Their power lay not in force, but in their ability to charm and deceive simultaneously. They built trust only to betray it, constructed alliances only to dismantle them. The warmth they feigned was the soft whisper before the dagger's plunge. You may recoil at this cold calculus. Yet, reflect, is it better to be the trusting lamb or the cunning wolf? To be devoured or to devour? Warmth without strategy is folly, warmth with strategy is power. Your next question may be, how to maintain this balance without losing yourself? The answer lies in detachment, in constant vigilance. Never allow the mask to slip. Never confuse performance with reality. Your true self is irrelevant. What matters is the image you project. And so you move through the world, a puppet master cloaked in warmth, pulling strings unseen. Allies become instruments, rivals become pawns, and you become the unseen hand that shapes destiny. Yet this is only one layer of the intricate game. To command fully, you must also learn to embody confidence, not only to fake kindness, but to wear dominance as a second skin. The next secret will reveal how confidence, genuine or feigned, crowns your deception with authority. Are you prepared to step deeper into the labyrinth of power? To learn how confidence fuels the illusion of strength and cements your control, the path continues, and the stakes grow higher. Your mastery of warmth will only carry you so far without the unwavering armor of confidence. Prepare yourself, the next truth awaits. Confidence is power's most visible crown. It commands the eyes, bends wills, and silences doubt before words are spoken. But what if I told you this confidence need not be earned nor felt? What if you could wear it as a mask, a carefully forged armor, and command respect with nothing but its unyielding appearance? You must understand confidence is less about truth and more about perception. It is the spectacle of certainty that convinces others to follow, obey, or surrender. History's greatest rulers and generals knew this well. They understood that a confident posture is a preemptive strike, a silent declaration that you are unshakable, inevitable, and dominant. Take Julius Caesar, for instance. His march across the Rubicon was not only an act of war, but a masterstroke of psychological warfare. His confidence broadcasted a message. There would be no retreat, no hesitation. His soldiers, inspired by his unshakable demeanor, marched with the certainty of victory. His enemies, unsettled by his boldness, faltered before battle even began. Confidence is contagious. When you radiate it, uncertainty flees. People seek leaders who appear certain, even if that certainty is false. Have you ever wondered why con men succeed, why actors captivate, or why politicians command crowds? It is because they fake confidence better than their rivals. They do not need to believe their lies. They only need to convince others that they believe. This is the essence of the strategic display of confidence. You craft an image that others cannot ignore. You walk into a room and own it, not because you are certain inside, but because you refuse to show doubt outside. Your voice is steady, your gaze direct, your movements deliberate. You do not ask for respect, you take it. But beware the pitfall of arrogance masquerading as confidence. True power's mask is not brash or reckless. It is calm and measured, like a seasoned chess player who sacrifices pawns only to secure a checkmate. Overconfidence reveals fragility. It invites challenge. The wise leader's confidence conceals as much as it reveals. Consider Napoleon Bonaparte, a master of psychological dominance. His charisma was his weapon. He projected unwavering confidence, convincing his troops and enemies alike that defeat was impossible. Even in dire circumstances, his demeanor never faltered. This illusion of invincibility often won battles before swords were drawn. Psychologically, confidence exploits the human need for security and leadership. In chaos, the uncertain cling to certainty. Your confident front becomes their anchor, a reason to trust, to follow, to obey. When you fake this emotion well, you wield control over the collective psyche. How then do you fake confidence? Begin by mastering your body language. Your posture must be erect, your gestures controlled. Speak clearly, pause deliberately. Silence can be a tool as potent as speech. The absence of hesitation is the loudest proclamation of confidence. Yet, confidence is more than posture and tone. It is the refusal to concede power in any interaction. When challenged, you do not flinch. You do not stumble. You answer with calm assurance, redirecting doubt back onto your opponent. In this way, you make them question themselves, not you. This tactic is not limited to leaders on battlefields or thrones. Every social encounter, every negotiation, every conflict is an opportunity to assert dominance through confidence. The most powerful manipulation is to convince others that you are already victorious, regardless of the truth. But what if your confidence is feigned? The secret is simple: others cannot see inside your mind. They judge only what you reveal. If you present certainty, they will believe it. You must guard your inner turmoil and wear the mask of power without faltering. Practice this performance until it becomes indistinguishable from truth. The consequences of mastering this art are profound. You will command rooms, influence decisions, and disarm adversaries before a single word is uttered. People will defer to your will, not out of fear, but out of belief in your unshakable certainty. Yet, as with all masks, the risk remains. A single crack, a flicker of doubt, and the illusion shatters. Confidence must be maintained with vigilance and care. The moment you doubt yourself is the moment others will doubt you. Now, reflect. How often have you hesitated, allowing uncertainty to erode your influence? How many opportunities have slipped away because you failed to wear confidence as your armor? The path to power demands that you seize it, even if you must pretend until the truth follows. But confidence alone will not crown your rule. There is a darker layer beneath the mask, a raw, menacing force that commands fear and submission. The next secret will expose how to wield controlled anger and menace as a silent, deadly weapon. Are you ready to delve deeper into the shadows of power? To learn how the subtle display of menace can bend others' wills without a single word, the game grows more dangerous and more rewarding. Your journey into mastery has only begun. Ear is a shadow that looms large in the theater of power. It is subtle yet mighty, a language spoken without words, a force that bends wills and breaks spirits. But fear need not be raw or violent to command obedience. The true master wields controlled menace, a cold, calculated display of anger and intimidation designed to unsettle without striking. This is the silent power of feigned fury. Ask yourself, what do your rivals fear more? Open hostility or the quiet threat lurking beneath a calm exterior? The answer is simple yet profound. The unpredictable, restrained menace is a far deadlier weapon than blind rage. It signals danger without revealing weakness. It forces caution, respect, and submission. It is the iron fist cloaked in velvet. Consider the example of Tsar Ivan IV of Russia, known as Ivan the Terrible. His reign was marked by cruelty, yes, but also by moments of eerie calm before devastating wrath. His silence could chill a room. His cold glare alone commanded obedience. This was no rash tyrant, but a strategist who knew how to make menace a tool of control. His enemies did not need to see his anger to fear it. They only needed to feel its presence. This is the psychology behind controlled menace. It creates uncertainty. People fear what they cannot predict. When you display anger selectively, with precision and restraint, you become a puzzle others cannot solve. They hesitate, second-guess, and in that hesitation, you gain the upper hand. How often have you encountered someone whose calm suddenly turns icy, whose quiet words carry an edge sharper than any shout? That is menace in action. It cuts deeper because it is unexpected, disciplined, and intentional. It speaks of power contained, a volcano waiting to erupt, a serpent coiled in patience. But wielding menace requires mastery of self. You must channel anger without surrendering to it. Your fury is not a loss of control, it is a weapon held firmly in your grasp. When provoked, you do not lash out wildly, but respond with measured force that unsettles and warns. You demonstrate that while you choose restraint, you are capable of overwhelming force. Look to the great generals and leaders who used menace to control armies and courts alike. Napoleon, again, excelled in this art. His temper was infamous, yet he displayed it only when necessary, always calculated to intimidate. His controlled anger kept his troops in line and his enemies wary. It was not chaos but discipline disguised as fury. Psychologically, controlled menace exploits primal fears. The fear of pain, humiliation, and loss of control. It reminds others of the consequences that await disobedience. Yet it stops short of destruction, preserving your image as the arbiter of power, not its victim. How do you project menace without overstepping? Begin with your presence. Your gaze should be steady and piercing. Your silence can carry more threat than a shouted threat. Let your body language speak of contained energy, a readiness to strike, but also a command over that impulse. When you do speak, let your words be few, sharp, and deliberate. This balance is delicate. Overdo it, and you become feared but hated, isolated and vulnerable. Underdo it, and your menace is empty, a bluff called too often. The master calibrates menace as a tool of influence, not a constant state. You might wonder, what if others see through the mask? The truth is, fear is often irrational. The perception of menace is more potent than its reality. Your reputation for controlled anger can precede you, bending wills before any action is taken. Consider how modern negotiators, leaders, and even CEOs use this tactic. A single cold glare, a moment of silence heavy with meaning, can alter the course of a deal or diffuse a challenge. This is power in its quietest, deadliest form. Yet, there is a danger wielding menace can corrode your soul if you lose yourself in it. You must always remember that menace is a mask, a means to an end, not an end itself. Behind it, you must remain the strategist, the observer, the unseen hand guiding the pieces. Now reflect. How often have you let anger betray you, scattering your power like sparks in the wind? How many times has your fury made you predictable, weak, or exposed? The mastery of controlled menace will transform your presence from volatile to invincible. But this power, though formidable, is incomplete without another element, the illusion of passion. The next secret you must learn is how to wield false zeal to bind allies and deceive enemies, to cloak your true intentions in a fiery mask. Are you prepared to take the next step into this darker art? To learn how passion, faked and fierce, can become your greatest deception and your strongest weapon. The path narrows, the stakes deepen. Your journey into dominion continues. Passion, fiery, consuming, seemingly sincere, is the force that binds hearts and minds alike. But beware, the passion you see is often a carefully crafted illusion. To command true power, you must learn to project zeal not born of conviction, but fabricated with precision. False passion is the ultimate deception, the mask that transforms allies into devoted instruments and rivals into unwitting pawns. Ask yourself, why do people follow certain leaders with unwavering loyalty? Is it always truth, or often the spectacle of fervor? History teaches us that passion ignites devotion, and devotion secures obedience. Yet, passion unguarded is dangerous. It reveals weakness, exposes doubt, invites challenge. The master of power conceals his true desires beneath a blazing facade, controlling the narrative and the hearts that fuel it. Consider Alexander the Great, whose charisma and boundless enthusiasm inspired men to cross deserts and conquer empires. Was all his passion genuine? Perhaps not. His zeal was as much a tool as his sword. It forged an image of unstoppable force, a man possessed by destiny. His followers believed in the fire he projected, even when shadows of doubt lurked behind his eyes. That illusion was his greatest weapon. False passion operates on psychology's deepest currents. Humans crave meaning, purpose, and belonging. When you display fervor, you offer these in abundance. You become a beacon, a symbol of cause and conviction. Even if that cause serves only your ambition, This emotional contagion binds people to you, forging loyalty not through truth, but through belief in your performance. But how does one manufacture passion? It is no mere exaggeration. It requires study of your audience, knowledge of their desires and fears. You tailor your fire to their needs, speaking the language of their hopes and grievances. You do not speak from your heart, but from their minds. This is manipulation perfected. Look to political leaders who master this art. They do not need to believe every word they proclaim. They only need to believe in their ability to convince. Their speeches, their gestures, their expressions, all choreographed to evoke fervor. The masses do not follow policies, they follow passion. This tactic demands discipline. You must maintain the illusion without faltering. A single moment of hesitation reveals the lie. The mask must become second skin. You become a performer and a puppeteer simultaneously. Yet, beware the trap of becoming what you feign. The line between performance and reality is thin and treacherous. Many have been consumed by the very passions they faked, losing clarity, becoming slaves to the image they crafted. Mastery requires distance, detachment. Your true self remains hidden behind the blazing mask. Consider the great charlatans and revolutionaries alike. Their success often hinged on their ability to project unshakable zeal. Their followers believed in a fire that may never have truly burned within. This paradox is the essence of power's performance. Ask yourself now, how often have you been swayed by passion without substance? How many times has fiery rhetoric blinded you to cold reality? The ability to wield false passion grants you the power to create such illusions, turning the tide of allegiance with nothing but your performance. But this art is incomplete without the foundation built by your previous masks: indifference, warmth, confidence, menace. Passion crowns these deceptions, binding them into a coherent narrative that convinces and conquers. What if you could bind your allies not with chains, but with belief? What if your rivals feared not your force, but your ability to inspire devotion? This is the power you must claim. The final question remains: can you sustain this blaze without burning yourself? Can you control the fire so it serves you rather than consumes you? The answer lies in mastery, of self, of image, of perception. Your journey into the dark heart of power reaches its climax. The secret to faking this one emotion, the fire of false passion, will elevate you beyond mere manipulation into legend. Are you ready to ignite the final spark that will light your path to dominion? Prepare yourself, for the ultimate revelation awaits. Power is never given. It is seized, quietly, invisibly, through control that no one sees coming. You do not command by force alone. You command by the illusions you craft, the masks you wear. By faking the one emotion that bends wills, you become the unseen master of fate. What is control if not the art of shaping others' perceptions? They think they act freely, while you pull their strings. Is it deceit? Yes. Is it necessary? Absolutely. The world favors the cunning, not the sincere. Ask yourself, how many battles have you lost because you showed your true face? How many victories await you if you master the perfect mask? Now, the choice is yours. Will you remain a pawn or become the player? Comment below your thoughts. Reveal your reflections, your doubts, your ambitions. Subscribe for more dark truths and ruthless strategies. Share this knowledge with those ready to ascend. Power favors the bold who understand the shadow's game. Step into the light of control and never be controlled again.